Why is the Kaaba black? This is indeed an intriguing question. The history of the Kaaba is arguably as old as time itself. Now, many people popularly believe that the Kaaba was built by Ibrahim alayhi salam, and that is a legitimate view according to many of the historians and the scholars of Seerah. Some have said actually the Kaaba was built by Adam alayhi salam, whilst others have said actually the Kaaba was built before Adam alayhi salam by the angels in the image of the Baytul Ma'mur. Yes, the Baytul Ma'mur, a Kaaba, another Kaaba, which resides in the seventh heaven directly above the location of our Kaaba, which is specifically for the angels. It has two doors, and on one day, 70,000 angels do tawaf of that Kaaba by going through one door, coming out of the other. If the angel who did tawaf of the Baytul Ma'mur, of the Kaaba in the seventh heaven, went back into the queue to do another tawaf, he would not be able to do that tawaf. Rather, he would die, in the sense that it would take him that long. The queue would be that long. In his lifetime, he would not be able to go and perform another tawaf, which only goes to show how many angels there are. Why am I talking about this? I'm mentioning this because of the significance of the Kaaba. The Kaaba is not just a building. Its location is a holy site, an extremely holy site. Directly above it in the seventh heaven is this metaphysical Baytul Ma'mur, another Kaaba that the angels do tawaf of. It is the site which is the most important in our faith. And we don't worship the Kaaba, of course not. The Kaaba is a holy site that Allah Ta'ala has appointed from the beginning of time for all of mankind. And for Muslims, it is a direction of prayer. That is all it is. But it has reverence to it. And it is for this reason that from Ibrahim alayhi salam's time onwards, once the Kaaba had been either built or rebuilt by Ibrahim alayhi salam, it had been covered, it had been adorned. On many occasions, the Quraysh would put one cloth and wouldn't remove it. They would put another one and another one and another one, until on one occasion there were so many layers of cloth that the Kaaba began to struggle, and they had to remove those cloths and reinforce its structure. But if we fast forward to the Prophet ﷺ's time, especially post-conquest of Mecca, the Prophet ﷺ himself clothed the Kaaba with a kiswa meaning the garment of the Kaaba, that was of Yemeni origin and was red and white stripes. After that, we know that Umar, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, during their time, some of the reports mention that the Kaaba was clothed with a pure white cloth. Then in the Umayyads, there were different colored cloths, sometimes multicolored cloths, white and red cloths that were used as the kiswa or the garment for the Kaaba. The black cloth for the Kaaba, it seems, comes in the Abbasid times, in the Khilafah of An-Nasar, who placed this black cloth as a symbol of the Abbasid Khalifa or the Abbasid Empire. And it seems that since that point onwards until today, the color of the cloth of the Kaaba has remained black, and it is removed every year on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, since that is what the Prophet ﷺ done. He removed it on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah and placed the Yemeni white and red cloth. Therefore, our tradition is that on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, every year we remove the cloth and we replace it with a new cloth. And it seems that since the Abbasids, we have kept it black, except the style has changed, the calligraphy has changed, the threads have changed. There's perhaps a lot more detail on the cloth of the Kaaba today than there was before. The fact that the manner in which the Yemeni stone has been exposed, the extra white layer underneath the black cloth to protect the walls of the Kaaba, all of that have slowly been added later on. With regards to what color the Kaaba should be, there is no requirement, there is no prerequisite. The Kaaba should be this color or that color. I think most of us are accustomed with the black cloth of the Kaaba, and to see any other color would be quite strange for us. But there is no prerequisite. What we need to do is to adorn the Kaaba as a sign of reverence to something that the Prophet ﷺ himself showed reverence. And our reverence only extends to the Kaaba because the Prophet ﷺ showed it reverence, because Ibrahim ﷺ showed it reverence, because it was deemed to be a holy site by Allah Ta'ala, and we call it Baytullah, the house of Allah.
Follow us and subscribe now on all things Hajj and Umrah.